Welcome to Founders Future, a podcast powered by Closers.io, where we explore the journeys of innovative entrepreneurs and the road ahead for them and their companies. I'm your host, Milan Kohout, and in each episode, we uncover the stories behind impactful ventures, the challenges faced, the lessons learned, and the strategies fueling future growth. Today, I'm absolutely thrilled to be joined by Jessica Tapia, a business mentor who helps women build and scale service-based tech agencies with a sharp focus on content strategy tailored for women in tech. Through her platform, The Earning Agency on Substack, she shares actionable insights on monetizing expertise and creating visibility in competitive digital spaces. With that being said, Jessica, let me officially welcome you to Founders Future.
Hi, thank you so much.
It's great to have you on the podcast. I think we're bound to have a good time. So let me just hop right into the conversation. What I love to do with the beginning of every single episode is a bit of traveling back in time. So briefly, before even having this company, what was the journey like? What were you doing before? And then eventually, what was the motivation for starting the business?
I really love that question. I don't think that it's asked enough. I was actually a stay-at-home mom. I am still a stay-at-home mom, but I started as a beauty influencer. I saw women doing it on Instagram. It started to morph into selling lashes. I fell into a hype, a trend. And so after doing that, I grew fairly well on Instagram, and then it turned into a service-based business after I saw the need for women that were asking me questions. How are you growing so fast on Instagram? How are you making your business so successful? So, yeah,
So it
that's what
was
it looked
very
like.
natural kind of growth.
Yes, it was. It progressed over time just through the experiences I was seeing with a lot of the women I was growing with on Instagram through different communities. But yeah, it also came from the need for self-expression. I'm a creative and I love using makeup to do that. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
love this. Yeah, Jessica, I'm pretty sure as you pivoted towards creating this kind of offer and running this kind of the company, the journey was nothing, it wasn't linear, I'm sure. There's a
Oh,
lot
at
of
all.
pivoting always to get that kind of clarity in terms of, okay, but what am I offering for whom? How am I going to follow up on my promises? All those big questions. But what we're going to do now is talk about where that journey got you overall and what the business really looks like today for you. So when it comes to this, go ahead and tell us who is it exactly that you're trying to help right now? And also, what are the core offerings that you have in place for those clients?
So really it is the women in tech who are struggling to be seen and be heard and really receive the payment that they deserve for their skill and their knowledge and talent. Our main offer right now, an offer ladder, I guess you could say, is one-on-one services as far as how we can help them build that brand online or even scale it and grow. And then a mentorship, which is a longer path that's 3 to 6 months. And it's really hands-on with our one-on-one sessions along with our group sessions. So we meet twice a week. And then
So the
they have
mentorship is the group coaching?
it's group. It has a group aspect, but also a solo once a week. So we meet 8 times essentially a month. And they are small groups. And I do that on purpose.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Now that's
Yeah.
interesting. So let's talk about that.
Okay. I only accept 10 to 15 women at a time for the mentorship. And that all depends on which tier they pick. So, like I said, there's a 3 month and a 6 month. And the 6 month, they also receive a quarterly box, stationery and things that help them along with what we're talking about in our curriculum. And there's also a curriculum for the mentorship. It is partly led by the mentee. They tell me what they're focused on. And as a whole, they're considered as an entrepreneur what they're going through. And yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun having
Yeah.
a balance of both.
This also begs the question, though, because when it comes to this podcast, obviously one of the biggest topics is the scalability and certain models that you have in place to make that possible, right? But with you mentioning that you're intentionally keeping it at a smaller size and controlling that amount of people that you work with, I'm curious, what is that scalability model for your own company, and what is that vision of continuous growth and scalability in the future?
So the main thing that we're looking at is I feel like that's why I'm offering the 3 months and the 6 month. That's a longer commitment. I know people are more serious about what they're doing, and also it's less churn. And I price accordingly because there is a limited amount of spaces. So it tends to balance out. I'm not too stressed about growing. I'm able to maintain. It's more about just stability at this point. But if I was to want to scale and offer more seats in the mentorship, I definitely would need to do some restructuring to my systems. Yeah, because it's set for just
Yeah.
small, intimate settings. Yeah.
This is interesting, though. I can promise you there is going to be a lot of people listening to this right now who are only concerned about just keep growing, right? So for a lot of people, it is the end goal to be able to confidently say what you just said and be like, hey, listen, at this point, it's just more about maintaining what I have and the kind of sustainability that I need instead of growing and scaling further. So when
Right.
it comes to this, I'm just curious, what is the thought process for you? Why is this the case? Why don't you feel the need to keep growing the company or its impact? What is behind that?
So I'm really big on understanding people and spending quality time with my individuals, with my mentees. I love them so much. My networkers, I enjoy getting to know them. And so that's why I know that when I give them quality service, they're retained, they're loyal, they're advocates. They will share on their own naturally. And that is going to allow me to, one, know that the people they invite are also going to be possibly as serious as they are, and they want to make a commitment to 3 months or 6 months in a mentorship. I know it's almost like a vetting process. There's a lot of times that we are focused on scaling and we're not focused on quality, the quality of the individuals that we are giving our energy and time to. So, yeah, it's intentional in a way that I love people and I want to spend as much time with them and understanding them, not just professionally, but personally, because that also has an impact on how they perform in the mentorship or even on their own. Yeah.
I would agree. It really sounds like you're going for the quality, not the quantity, but it
Mm,
also means that you are very present when it comes to the client journey. So when it
right.
comes to this, like people in your industry and similar industries with similar projects, one of the biggest issues that they stumble upon is not enough commitment on the side of the client. But at the same time, if you're not setting those right standards and being committed as well to the journey, it's not going to work out long term. So it makes a
Right.
lot of sense. Now, when it comes to this, I'm also curious when you look at the future of the company later down the road, obviously there is a lot of work that you need to do with every single client that comes through the front door. So, can you see yourself just sticking to those coaching processes, or do you feel like there is a future in you basically hiring other assistant coaches, let's call them, to work under you with the same methodologies? Or what is really the perspective there?
So I've actually done that and I love it. I love doing that. Having these assistant, I apologize. Am I back?
Yep, you're back.
Okay. My apologies. So could you repeat your question one more time?
Absolutely. So, by the way, we're just going to edit this out. But the question
Okay.
of whether you will consider hiring assistant coaches, having somebody working under you with the
Right.
same methodologies, yada yada.
Okay. Yes. So I've done that prior. It worked out fairly well. I do have women in mind, but this is more of not necessarily putting them in a permanent spot to be a teacher or educator, but more of them coming in for a short period of time, maybe for a month or so to teach a particular curriculum, and then they would cycle out, but it wouldn't be anything where they would permanently take the position that I have as main mentor, if that makes sense.
It makes a lot of sense though, but I love to see that you've already delegated when it comes to this,
Mhm.
right? This is
Yeah, for sure.
one of the biggest topics on the podcast. A lot of people are struggling real hard when it comes to letting somebody else take over some responsibility from you. And I understand it. This is your baby. You've built this up from the ground up, right? But when it comes to this, if there's anybody listening to this right now and they're on a fence of whether they should take the next step and hire somebody and let somebody help them, what is your philosophy in terms of how to approach delegation. When is the right time to take that step?
When you are doing a very nice time audit and you are seeing that there are just not enough moments in your day to do the thing, that's when you say, okay, you have the ability to delegate for just a project or for a short period of time. Reflecting and understanding what type of help you need, how long you may need it, that would be the first thing. But delegation is a part of growth. You do have to trust that person is going to do what they say they're going to do, but also making sure that they align with just your vision and they understand where you're coming from and where you want to go. And yeah, so I would say that.
I love this. So this is what's happening on the front of fulfillment. And I'm also curious about altogether what's happening really on the back end side of the business with your marketing and everything else to even be in a position where you can get in front of those right people, in front of those women, and have that ability to onboard new clients and keep impacting those lives. So what is really the strategy on that front?
Our main platform right now for visibility is our email, right? Brand awareness would be X and Substack. But at the end of the day, we are so happy to have our newsletter. That's where a lot of our engagement happens. So from brand awareness on X to Substack, and then we move them down into the newsletter. That's pretty much it. The content marketing does the rest. We have an article a week. The article leads to a space or a live stream, and all the other little call to actions in between that say, hey, if you want a very more detailed personal breakdown of how we have these frameworks and structures for building a business online, building a brand online, get into the newsletter. That's where it's going to happen. And that is also through Substack. That is more of our where we talk about womanhood and our I guess you could say our more personal stories. I do have guest writers, so that's why I say we. And but the actual newsletter through Kit is where we do all the frameworks. We have our 5 by 5s, which is our five questions for our frame of mind, and then 5 slides for our framework, so that there is implementation right after you read the newsletter. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm not sure if I misheard you, but as you were talking about the brand awareness, I think you also mentioned the ads. Is that correct, or did I misheard?
The platform X, so we're on Twitter.
Oh, X. Okay,
Yeah,
I thought you
we
said
meet a lot
ads.
of yeah, oh, I apologize. I've met all of these amazing women on X. So I'm so happy because when you think about it, X is a male-dominated platform, but we have our own community there, the Earning Agency, and we talk about the same things, content creation, branding, marketing, entrepreneurship,
Mhm.
womanhood, the back ends and data analysis and things like that also. So it's really fun. It's a lot of fun over
Yeah.
there. Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds like fun, 100%. And also, thank you for clarifying. For some reason, I heard ads. But since I already asked you about it, I'm also curious because when we talk about organic growth, obviously, in most cases, this can be a very slow drip. And it
Right.
can be very inconsistent. So there's a lot of people who are on the fence of whether they should invest into paid ads or strategic partnerships just to get that faster growth. Now, when it comes to your relationship with social media and the paid aspect of it all, have you already dabbled into it? If so, what is your experience? Is this going to be a part of your strategy?
So I have done paid partnerships before as far as that aspect, but if we're talking about like ads on my end of buying ads, I've done it on TikTok just to see what it was about because when they started pushing it, I was like, okay, let me do some. And then I did a review video of the outcomes. I think that it is definitely worth it at some point. When you really want to get your message out, when you have that offer you know is going to impact the next person, do the research, of course. I would definitely consult with someone who is a professional in ads before spending your money. Do the research, hire a consult. It is okay, especially when you feel or you're reassured by that person that the money is going to come back to you. And sometimes it may not. And that's a part of the game. You have to be willing to take it, but it's a lesson learned at the end of it all. So I have done it, yes. And I would suggest when you get to that point in growth or you really want to expedite that growth, go ahead and try it. Take that lesson and see how it works for you for sure.
Yeah, but I appreciate you saying that it's definitely worth discussing something like that with somebody
Oh,
who's
for sure.
because a lot of people just straight up lose money. There is a certain amount of mastery that you need to have in order to take care of that and have a successful strategy. So either you take the time to really learn the ins and outs of it, or you're just better off hiring somebody else to do the same thing, right?
For sure. For sure.
Absolutely. When it comes to, by the way, taking like all of the activities on the front of marketing, also communicating with those leads, the whole sales process to have the ability to onboard that client, there is a lot that goes into it. So when it comes to this side of the business, are you considering also launching your own like internal marketing team, sales, fulfillment, whatever the case might be? Or do you feel like in the future you're still going to try and mostly run it as a one-woman show?
So I do have automations already set up. Shout out to the AI and automation platform softwares. No, I did at one point have a virtual assistant and I loved her. And I did have other people doing some of the touch work, right? Those bases where sending out the emails or following up, making sure documents were received, those types of things. But yeah, I would like to continue to do that at some point. I would like to get my girl back. Hopefully she'll have me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jessica, when you think about the future, maybe just the next year or so of the company and its impact that you want to see, what are really the biggest targets for you, the goals, revenue, milestones that you have set for yourself?
Definitely the biggest one is hosting or at least speaking at an engagement, a speaking engagement. My apologies. I have spoken on a panel once before about social media marketing, and it was so much fun. And I would love to have these in-person meets where we can talk to each other face to face and feel the energy. Revenue, definitely for sure being paid from those speaking engagements. If we want to talk numbers, I'm shooting for 5K just from the speaking engagements. I have had the prior experience and I love it. I think that it's a great opportunity for the women who want to meet in person and talk it out. But yeah, hopefully that was a sufficient answer. Yeah.
It was. It makes a lot of sense. When you think about that growth and what you want the company to look like in the future, what would you expect to stand in the way or maybe become the biggest challenge of making that growth happen?
So I'm a mom of five and I put my children
I,
first. Yes, I'm
wow.
31. I'm 31. Yeah. And so my children always come first, the family commitments, and that's why I keep it so intentional. But those are some of the things that I'm working into building it or incorporating family life into the business because I'm working with women and a lot of women are mothers. That's why I want to do the in person so that when we meet, we're able to bring our littles and have our moments together and really build a friendship. But yeah, so that's it.
Yeah, I love this. Jessica, I gotta say one thing, having five kids,
Yeah.
that's more than a full-time job in itself. So to be running the business alongside, that's quite impressive. But Jessica, I love your journey. I love the project. I love what you do. So you just earned yourself a new fan, and I'm very happy about the fact that you took some time and shared this story with our audience as well. Thank you so much for your time. If anybody from the listeners would like to get in touch with you and one day maybe even work with you, what is the
Right.
best way to find you?
So you can find me on any platform at the Jessica Tapia. And then also we have our Substack, The Earning Agency. That those are the best ways to find us. And we're putting out content consistently. Yep.
Beautiful. Thank you again. It was a pleasure to have you on.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Bye. Have a good one.
Now, to our listeners, if today's conversation inspired you as well, make sure to subscribe to Founders Future on your favorite platform. And also, if you're a business owner, more specifically a consultant or a coach, or you have an agency and you're trying to scale the business and really enhance both your sales and marketing efforts, also visit closers.io, get in touch with our team, and discover how exactly we scaled our company from zero to over 30 million per year in less than 3 years. Until then, keep on crushing it, and I'll see you on the next one.